This Land Cruiser 80 has been through a lot. Mud, rust, and time have left their marks. The frame is completely corroded, and the undercarriage is packed with dirt. Today, we're starting from the bottom, going through the chassis piece by piece. Let's take a deep dive and see what decades of use have done to this Toyota icon. First, the body's coming off. The cooling fan? Completely shredded. The radiator? Beyond saving. As we move forward with the restoration, the body needs to be separated, and the radiator is coming out with it. Looking at this LC80, I can't help but wonder, does it even have the potential for a full rebuild? The frame is rusted through, the gearbox is in rough shape, yet somehow the usual leaky spots are bone dry. Examining the components, some parts seem to have been removed before, while others are just naturally falling apart. We're preparing to deep clean this beast, stripping off layers of mud and grime. The entire undercarriage is coated in dirt, and once the body is off, we'll get a proper look at what's left of the frame. A full restoration is on the table, but first we need to get this thing cleaned up. Not many vehicles can endure the kind of abuse this one has. The next step is separating the engine. The surrounding components are coming out as well, clearing the way for a detailed inspection. After cleaning, one thing is clear. This chassis was built tough. If I had to rate its condition, I'd say it's holding up surprisingly well, considering the years it has endured. When we finally lifted the engine out, I had to question whether it was worth pouring a fortune into bringing it back to life. Honestly, I wouldn't do it, but the owner? He's got a deep connection to this truck. The engine has minor oil seepage, so later we'll give it a proper reseal and lay down a fresh coat of protective primer. Every component we pulled off is going to need attention, making this restoration a serious time investment. For now, it's about bringing life back to the details, fixing gaskets, grinding away rust, and scrubbing off layers of hardened mud. This thing has clearly seen some extreme terrain. Judging by the dirt caked under the body, I'd bet this truck has been through some serious off-road adventures. While we're waiting for some parts to be prepped, we're cleaning up the undercarriage and applying a protective rust-proof coating. Every bolt and frame section is getting a fresh layer of defense. The old LC80 originally ran on a diesel engine, but fitting another one wasn't an option. In the end, the owner went with a V8 4.7-liter swap, giving this classic a whole new heart. A deep clean on the engine removes years of built-up grease and grime. This truck has spent its life conquering remote trails, but one trip into extreme heat was enough to take out the original engine. Now it's getting a second chance. Right now, the only engine that fits is the inline-six 4.5-liter, but the owner isn't impressed. It just doesn't have enough power. If a bigger, better option were available, he'd go for it without a second thought. So the frame and engine meet again, this time with a 4.7-liter setup. But let's be real. Does it make sense to refurbish every single bolt? Sure, we could sandblast them, soak them in chemicals, and make them look brand new, but is it worth it? The manual transmission is also getting a checkup since the owner mentioned the clutch feels a bit off. So while we're at it, a full transmission service is in order. Everyone has their own idea of what a restoration should be, and in this video, we're diving into our approach. After soaking, the hardness of the bolts changes, meaning we can't just clean everything down to bare metal. Instead, we're selectively cleaning and reinstalling them where needed. The transmission housing has been sandblasted, the frame has been refinished, and the entire undercarriage is getting a complete refresh. Is this overkill? I don't think so. I've experimented before, fully refurbishing every single bolt. But in the end, they became brittle and snapped under pressure. They just don't hold up like the originals. So instead of tearing everything apart, we're focusing on what truly matters. The frame has been fully repainted, rust removal is done, and even the catalytic system has been treated. If we're talking about a high-standard chassis restoration, this is the way to do it. But let's be clear, restoring an old truck isn't about making it look brand new. It's about keeping it road-ready, battle-tested, and capable of taking on any terrain. That's the real meaning of a restoration. The frame and body are back together, brake pads have been replaced, and a new radiator and cooling fan are installed. The undercarriage rebuild alone took nearly 3 weeks, and now it's time to tackle the interior and exterior. First, the entire interior is coming out. With a truck this old, every step needs to be done carefully. One broken clip or misplaced wire can cause a serious headache. That's one of the biggest challenges when restoring a classic like this. To be honest, the original interior color wasn't exactly the best choice. But now that everything has been stripped out, it's time to move forward. The engine and undercarriage work is nearly complete, so the next step is reassembly. If we're going to do this right, every detail needs to be addressed. Some bolts are way too tight, so they need a bit of lubrication to loosen up. The door panels? They were basically cardboard, so they've been removed and are getting rewrapped. The restoration process follows 2 key steps. First, strip the entire interior, then repaint. Next, the truck is heading to the shop for fresh paint, and any missing or damaged parts will be replaced. I've seen plenty of old LC80s, and one thing they all have in common? A lack of proper lubrication in key areas. And the interior? Let's just say it's as dirty as you'd expect. This engine isn't the original. It's been swapped before. But can we bring everything back to its former glory? Stick around and find out. Reinstalling the 4.7-liter engine had me on edge. Every time we put it back together, another component had to be removed again for paint prep. At this stage, the truck still couldn't start, but once everything was in place and it finally roared back to life, it was a moment of pure relief. Looking at this worn-out shell, all it needs now is about 10 more cans of paint, and the job will be done. The final step is a thorough sanding job to smooth everything out. Some areas have been patched up so many times that the layers of filler are thicker than a fresh coat of makeup. So this time, everything is being stripped down to bare metal, ensuring a perfectly even surface before repainting. If a part doesn't absolutely need replacing, we're keeping it original. For paint, we're sticking with Parrot, a tried-and-true brand that delivers excellent adhesion and color accuracy. But at the end of the day, color matching is an art, and getting it right requires precision. Every interior piece has been removed and sent to the upholstery shop, where it's being restored to match the car's original factory color. The owner even paid extra to get Toyota's OEM color matching formula, just to ensure authenticity. Next, all the doors in the hood are going back on, with each panel carefully hand-trimmed for the best fit. On a truck this old, every detail. Stitching the seats, refinishing the interior panels, and restoring premium leather trim has to be done by hand. And with a Hermes-inspired interior color scheme, will it feel out of place? We'll find out once everything comes together. The interior panels are being precision cut, new mounting holes drilled, and the upholstery is being redone. Some smaller plastic components have been replaced using electrostatic spray painting for a factory-fresh look. With all major restoration work finished, the interior gets a deep clean before reassembly. The original floor mats are still in decent shape. After a good wash, they'll be good as new, so there's no need to replace them. The owner is a bit of an audiophile, so the sound system is getting a custom three-way crossover setup, blending seamlessly into the cabin while enhancing the overall sound quality. Once everything is in place, the finishing touches begin. Installing new glass, fine-tuning the body alignment, and adding full soundproofing. Finally, a four-wheel alignment and audio system calibration bring the project to a close. If this truck could talk, it probably wouldn't have imagined that, decades later, a whole team of people would dedicate themselves to bringing it back to life. After countless hours of work, this classic is officially reborn, ready to hit the road once again. We've reached the final stage, washing off the dust and grime to reveal the transformation. This is the moment to witness a once mighty off-road king rise from the ashes. The full restoration is nearly complete, and soon we'll take a closer look to see if this legendary machine truly lives up to its name after being reborn. Bringing this LC80 back to life wasn't easy. When it first rolled into the shop, I was honestly taken aback. Why? The engine had already been swapped for a 4.7-liter, and many original parts were either missing or nearly impossible to find. I had never restored an LC80 before, so there were plenty of unknowns. But there's a first time for everything, and with the right effort, anything can be done. The headlights? We had to track them down from salvaged vehicles. When the truck first arrived, it didn't even have a cooling fan. We tried to keep as much of its original essence as possible, but the owner wanted a fresh take, something that combined classic durability with a new, personalized style. For those who know, the LC80 is an icon in the off-road world. Hardcore enthusiasts love this model, and now that it's fully restored, the driving experience is unlike anything else. Let's take it for a spin. A fresh Toyota grille, refinished wheels, and brand new tires, the entire body and chassis have been completely revamped. When it first came in, even the door handles were falling apart. Now everything is either restored or replaced. The rear section was also completely redone, making sure every last detail was brought back to life. Inside, everything has been meticulously rebuilt. From the fog lights to the daytime running lights, the vehicle maintains a vintage feel while embracing modern refinements. The seats are now wrapped in Hermes orange with sleek black tech accents, blending luxury with ruggedness. A suede headliner in charcoal gray adds a refined touch, and while the wheels and tires stick to their original design, they've been fully restored for a fresh look. The second row seats match the front, featuring the same premium materials and craftsmanship. This isn't just a facelift, it's a full transformation. Take a moment to appreciate this Land Cruiser 80 revival. For us, this isn't just another project, it's passion. When work aligns with what you love, it becomes more than just a job. It turns into a mission. Everyone has a classic car they hold close to their heart. Without passion, this LC80 could have easily ended up in a scrapyard. But because of its owner's love for timeless machines, it's back on the road, ready for new adventures. Restoring old cars isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about honoring their legacy and letting them roam the roads once more.